Every franchise should have a financial disclosure document.
Could potentially cripple the industry.
I think that saying that it could cripple the industry is a very strong sentence.
I think that's a good case. Is that a good argument?
Rushing you through the door and forcing your hand almost with some dodgy sales tactics to get you to sign the franchise agreement.
Accusing me of being a dodgy salesperson.
Well.
Welcome to the Full Disclosure Podcast with me, Ed Purnell, the founder of the franchise, and my co-host,
Jo Middleton, founder of Franchise Business School.
Each episode, one co-host will make and defend a strong statement around a topic from the franchising industry. The other co-host then has to argue the other side. This week it's Jo's turn, so here we go.
Every franchise should have a financial disclosure document.
Difficult one to argue against, full disclosure. I'm fully on board with that. But I've tried to come up with some arguments against that. And I think I've got my notes here, and I'm thinking the strongest one is probably if that was to be introduced into the UK now as law by the government and, it had to be implemented, it could potentially cripple the industry in so much as it might just put off so many people from joining a franchise brand because they can see the realities of it, that actually turns into a negative for the industry. Do you think that's a good case? Is that a good argument?
I think that saying that it could cripple the industry is a very strong sentence.
I've got to try and come in hard on this one, haven't I? Because, it's a difficult one to defend.
So I think that every franchise should prepare a financial disclosure document, whether or not it is disclosed to the franchisee in full during the recruitment process, or whether it is that they have prepared the information and then they go through elements of the information that are needed at certain points in time during the recruitment process. But I feel like every franchisor should prepare the document just so that they know that what they're saying during their recruitment process is accurate and they're not misleading anyone, but also so that by presenting it all in one go, they're not overwhelming potential franchisees coming on board. I know I'm kind of giving you a bit of ammunition there in this argument, but I was speaking to a client on Monday who found that her financial disclosure document that she has got prepared and was sending out to franchisees in a lifestyle brand was actually overwhelming prospects and putting them off. And she was losing them along the recruitment process at that stage, not because there was anything wrong with the information presented, but because it was information overwhelm at that point in the recruitment process.
Yeah, and I think it could be scary for the franchise candidate, some of them are like 30, 40 pages long, maybe 50 pages, and that along with the statement, the agreement, the franchise agreement, there's quite a lot of reading and in-depth kind of information. It's almost makes it easier to then just go and work out how to build your own own business, right? So, and that almost brings me on to my other point as well, which is by having all that information on show, you're basically opening up your whole business and saying this is everything. There are going to be competitors out there that are
fishing,
a bit unscrupulous, and will pretend to be a candidate, take all that information and try and build their own franchise or implement elements into theirs and at least know what they're up against with their competitors. So maybe that's the downside to having a full disclosure document, is you're opening up your business almost too much.
Yeah, you kind of are, but by that point you would have qualified them as a prospect and gone through certain elements of the recruitment process before you provided them with the full document. And you'd also make sure that they'd signed an NDA as well, so that you were as sewn up as possible, although as all franchisors know, there are people, like you say, that are unscrupulous or just doing the best they can to protect their business in perhaps a way that isn't ethical. However, I think I can't remember his name, I've gone blank, founder of McDonald's.
Ray Kroc, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Went and worked in a burger place to see the systems and processes before he went on and founded McDonald's. So, yeah, I guess people do fish from other businesses to see what they're up against and what's going on out there in the industry.
Yeah, it happens, that's for sure. And I'm just going to keep on reeling off my other arguments that I've got here. Right?
Just because you're really proud that you've actually found some.
Well, I took some time to try and find the opposite side, and I guess one that I've actually seen is that they can delay the recruitment process. So in other countries, 12 days, 31 days, that the disclosure document has to have been given to the candidate, signed by them, before they can then sign the actual franchise agreement. Maybe that's a plus because, okay, well then at least they're going to be totally serious about joining and 100% everything about it. But things change in that time period, and yeah, I can see brands losing out on those candidates, especially if it's not by law required. If they're up against another competitor, that as soon as they sign the agreement, they're good to go. For you have to make them wait 2 weeks or a month to
I get
sign
that.
the agreement. That's putting you at a disadvantage. So I guess that's not law, is it, in the UK, that you'd have to wait 2 weeks or anything like that?
No, but also from the sort of opposite side of that, would you not find some reassurance as a prospect that actually the franchisor is being transparent and above board and giving you that time to make sure it's the right decision for you, rather than rushing you through the door and forcing your hand almost with some dodgy sales tactics to get you to sign the franchise agreement?
You're accusing me of being a dodgy salesperson.
Well, was that you selling cars down the road earlier?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. No, like I say, I think it's difficult to argue the other side of it, but I guess there's going to be some resistance to that coming into play and it being essential because of these reasons. And I think another one of the reasons is we've got the BFA. If you're worried about that, join the BFA, because as an external body, they can review the business and say, okay, they're ethically a good brand, and that's some reassurance to the candidate, rather than giving them the ins and outs of everything. So yeah, is that argument hold up much weight? I don't know.
Potentially. I just feel that even if it's not something that is a legal requirement, or it's not something that is disclosed in full to the franchisee prospect, that it's something that head office have prepared and know inside out, back to front, so that they can identify any gaps and make sure that everything is above board and the way it should be.
Excellent. I'm out of arguments, and I'm on board with everything you're saying, to be honest with you. Full disclosure, that's my feelings, is that as a candidate, I would probably want to know all the ins and outs, and I would want the franchisor to want me to know that, because we're going into a business relationships together. If you're hiding certain elements of your business,
doesn't build the whole trust thing, does it?
No, because then I'd think, well, why should I give you all my information and what I've been doing and past experiences, what's in my bank account, all of that kind of information? Why should I do that if you're not prepared to show everything from your side? So yeah, I
agree, but it needs to be presented in a way that isn't creating that overwhelm to the franchisee coming on board.
Yeah, I still think you can make it a really nice visual piece, actually. So when you're talking about territories or using figures, use kind of maps and icons and stuff like that, rather than it just being a big block of text
document.
And almost turning it into a sales PDF, I guess, or a presentation.
Lots of nice
makes
imagery.
it easier to digest. Yeah, maybe that's it. It's just using smaller chunks of text rather than big blocks of paragraphs where it's not necessary.
Meeting all the different learning styles, which I bang on about all the time on socials. I just think it's really important to make sure that all learning styles are met, and this document should be no different.
Yeah, excellent. Draw a line under that one.
Line drawn.
Go on, you ring the bell. Hey! So, Joe, magazine PR is a dead format for the franchising industry.